Elon Musk's unexpected visit to church, a turning point no one saw coming. No one knew why Elon Musk, the world's most enigmatic billionaire, had agreed to attend a Sunday service at Grace Community Church. The moment the announcement was made, it stirred confusion and speculation. Some believed it was another strategic move for publicity. Others thought he was trying to soften his image. But Pastor David Wilson had a different understanding, one that came from a quiet, persistent nudge he believed was from God. 3 weeks earlier, Pastor Wilson had sent a message to Musk through a mutual friend. It was simple and direct. "I believe God has something important to tell you. Would you consider visiting our church?" To everyone's shock, Musk said yes. In the days that followed, the church staff worked tirelessly. They coordinated with Musk's security detail, fielded dozens of media inquiries, and adjusted their usual routines. The buzz was undeniable, but Musk's team made one thing clear. This wasn't a press event. Only one camera crew would be allowed inside to stream the service live. No interviews, no press conferences. By Sunday morning, anticipation hung heavy in the air. Church members arrived earlier than usual, filling the sanctuary with whispers and glances. Some wondered if Musk would actually show. Others wondered why he had agreed at all. Would he just sit in the back quietly? Would he say something? No one knew. Not even Pastor Wilson. In his office before the service, the pastor stood adjusting his tie in the mirror. His wife, Sarah, noticed his tense expression. "Are you nervous?" she asked gently. "A little," he admitted. "But I keep reminding myself God arranged this. I'm just following his lead." At precisely 10:15 a.m., 3 black SUVs pulled up to the church's side entrance. Security personnel exited first, scanning the surroundings. Then Elon Musk stepped out. Dressed in a simple dark suit, no tie, he looked slightly worn, as if he hadn't been sleeping much. But there was a calmness about him. Pastor Wilson greeted him at the door with a warm smile. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Musk." "Please call me Elon," he replied with a small smile. "To be honest, I'm not entirely sure why I'm here." "That makes 2 of us," the pastor chuckled. "But I believe we'll both find out soon enough." As they made their way toward the sanctuary, Musk noticed the camera crew setting up for the live broadcast. "I almost forgot about that," he murmured. "We can cancel it if you prefer," Pastor Wilson offered quickly. Musk paused, then shook his head. "No, let's keep it. Something tells me it should stay." Inside, the congregation fell silent the moment Musk entered. He took a seat in the front row, eyes fixed on the simple wooden cross at the front of the room. No one approached him. There were no selfies, no interruptions. The church respected the moment. The worship team began playing. Musk didn't sing along, but he listened closely. The lyrics, about grace, about forgiveness, seemed to hold his attention in a way nothing else had for a long time. Pastor Wilson walked to the podium, heart pounding. He had prepared a sermon about finding purpose in life. But as he looked down at his notes, something in his spirit shifted. He looked up, and his eyes met Musk's. In that moment he knew this was going to be different. He began as planned, talking about the human search for meaning. But 10 minutes in, he noticed Musk shift in his seat, visibly unsettled. His face showed conflict, confusion, tension, even fear. The pastor paused mid-sentence. A quiet prompting stirred in him, and he spoke off script. "Sometimes," he said gently, "God brings us to a moment of truth. A place where we can no longer run from the questions inside us." Musk looked up sharply. Those words hit like a direct message. "We build empires," Pastor Wilson continued. "We chase success and accumulate wealth. But when the noise dies down, when it's just us and our thoughts, those same questions return. Who am I, really? What's my purpose? Is this all there is?" The sanctuary was completely still. Suddenly, Elon Musk stood up. Pastor Wilson stepped back, surprised. "May I say something?" Musk asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The pastor nodded and moved aside. Musk walked slowly to the front, his hands trembling slightly. He stood at the podium, looked out at the congregation, and the camera streaming to millions, and began. "I didn't plan to speak today," he said, voice unsteady. "I came here because something has been happening to me that I can't explain." He paused, collecting his thoughts. "For most of my life, I've believed in science. in logic, in human potential. I've pushed boundaries, tried to solve big problems. But recently, he trailed off, struggling to find the words. Recently I've felt empty, like something fundamental is missing. He looked around, eyes scanning the crowd. 3 months ago I couldn't sleep. Night after night, I lay awake questioning everything I've built. The success, the money, the influence, it started to feel hollow. He paused again, visibly emotional. One night, out of sheer desperation, I did something I hadn't done since I was a child. I prayed. I didn't expect anything, but something happened. I felt a presence, a peace that made no sense to my rational mind. Musk's voice cracked. I've been secretly reading the Bible since then, trying to understand what I felt, trying to make sense of it in my own way. Pastor Wilson stood nearby, silently praying. Last week, Musk continued, I was alone in my home office when I felt that presence again. Stronger. No audible voice, but I knew God was speaking to me, telling me to stop hiding, to acknowledge him. Publicly, he turned toward the camera. That's why I'm here. That's why I didn't cancel the broadcast. Something bigger than me is happening, and I can't keep it private anymore. The room remained silent, but it was no longer a silence of uncertainty. It was reverent, awe-filled. That Sunday morning at Grace Community Church wasn't about a celebrity appearance. It wasn't about headlines or image makeovers. It was about a man at the top of the world realizing he still needed something more, and choosing to be vulnerable enough to say so. And for everyone watching, it was a moment they'd never forget. Elon Musk's public surrender to God, the moment that shocked the world. The sanctuary remained completely silent. Not a word, not a cough. Just an atmosphere so thick with emotion it was almost tangible. Many in the congregation sat with tears in their eyes. They were witnessing something no one expected to see in their lifetime. Elon Musk, the world-renowned tech visionary, standing vulnerable, trembling. Not with nerves but with something deeper. Conviction. Transformation. I don't have all the answers, Musk admitted, his voice soft but unwavering. I still have 1,000 questions. But for the first time in my life, I'm willing to admit that there are truths beyond what science can prove. That there is a God who knows me, and somehow despite everything loves me. He paused, visibly wrestling with what to say next. No one in the building moved. Millions watching the live stream held their breath. This wasn't a tech demo. It wasn't a press conference. It wasn't a staged moment. It was raw, unfiltered, and deeply human. For most of my life, Musk continued, I've prided myself on being rational, on following evidence, logic, and reason. I've mocked faith, dismissed it as a crutch for people too afraid to face reality. He wiped his forehead, not from heat but from emotional strain. But what if I was wrong? What if my so-called rationality was just another kind of blindness? From the side of the stage, Pastor Wilson watched intently. He sensed Musk was walking right into a defining spiritual moment. Not scripted, not expected, but real. 2 weeks ago, I hit the lowest point of my life, Musk revealed. The pressure, the constant criticism, the expectations, it was crushing me. That night, alone in my house, I broke down completely. He looked down for a moment, then back up, eyes searching the room. I shouted at God. I challenged him. If you're real, then prove it. Show me something I can't explain away. He took a deep breath, recalling the moment with visible emotion. What happened next? I still can't explain. I felt something lift off me. A weight I hadn't even realized I was carrying. And in that release came a clarity I'd never known before. He looked helplessly at the crowd. How do you describe color to someone who's been blind their whole life? That's what this is like for me. I've been spiritually blind. And now, I'm beginning to see. A single tear rolled down his cheek. He didn't wipe it away. My whole life, I've tried to save humanity. Through technology. Through innovation. I wanted to colonize Mars, end fossil fuel dependency, merge humans with AI. I thought I could save the world with my own hands. His voice rose with passion. But that night, I understood something painfully simple. I can't even save myself. How could I ever save humanity? The camera zoomed in, broadcasting his tear-streaked face to millions around the world. Elon Musk, the titan of tech, was laying down his pride piece by piece, in front of a stunned world. For the first time, he said, voice thick with emotion, I understood what Christians mean when they talk about surrender, about giving up control. He turned to Pastor Wilson. May I sit down? The pastor nodded and brought a chair to the front of the stage. Musk sat, took a deep breath, and continued. That night, I did something I never imagined I would do. I got on my knees, and I surrendered my life to God. Not because all my doubts vanished, not because I had everything figured out, but because I realized my way wasn't working. He looked upward, as if searching for something beyond the ceiling. The piece that followed, it doesn't fit into any theory I've ever studied. It doesn't make logical sense. It contradicts everything I thought I knew about consciousness and the human mind. Slowly, he stood up again, moving to the center of the stage. His posture had changed. He looked lighter, calmer, resolved. I've kept this private until now, he said. I wasn't ready for the scrutiny, the questions, the mockery, the articles. I know what people will say, that I'm having a breakdown, that this is some PR stunt, that I've lost my mind. He gave a small, sad smile. 6 months ago, I would have said the same thing. If I saw someone like me doing this. The congregation was weeping freely now. Something deep was stirring, not just in Musk, but in everyone watching. But I can't keep this hidden anymore, Musk said firmly. Something is happening to me. Something real. And I need to acknowledge it, not for attention. God knows I have enough of that. But because I believe, I'm meant to share this journey. The live stream's viewer count exploded. Social media was in a frenzy. The world was watching the most unexpected confession of faith in modern history unfold in real time. Musk stepped forward, hands open at his sides. I've spent my entire life chasing the future, he said. Always looking ahead. Always building the next thing. The next company. The next breakthrough. He looked around the sanctuary. I rarely stopped to ask why. What's it all for? Where does it lead? He paused. Being here today, it feels strange. This isn't my world. But maybe that's the point. Maybe I had to leave my world to finally see the truth. Pastor Wilson stood silently at the edge of the stage, awestruck at what was unfolding before him. Last night I couldn't sleep, Musk continued. I knew this was coming. The live broadcast. The cameras. Part of me wanted to cancel it all. Go back into hiding. It would have been safer. He turned to the camera. But then I remembered something I read in the Gospels. Jesus said, Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. His voice strengthened. There was no fear now. Only clarity. I've never been afraid to take risks in business. I've bet everything, faced ridicule, near bankruptcy, failure. But this standing here, admitting that I need God, this is the biggest risk I've ever taken. He took a final breath and stepped forward, center stage. Today on this broadcast, I want to make it official. I am giving my life to Jesus Christ. Not because I understand everything. Not because all my questions are gone. But because I've found someone who fills the emptiness that nothing else ever could. The sanctuary erupted, not in applause, but in tears, in awe, in silent reverence. Around the world, millions watched in disbelief as the man known for rockets, AI, and electric cars revealed the deepest truth he had ever discovered. And in that moment, Elon Musk wasn't just a billionaire or a tech genius. He was a soul found. Elon Musk's public surrender to God, the aftershock that shook the world. As Elon Musk stood on stage, the sanctuary remained silent, but the internet was erupting. Online comments poured in by the thousands, flooding every social media platform. Viewers across the globe were stunned, not by a product launch or a scientific breakthrough, but by a man known for shaping the future now surrendering to something eternal. I know what this will cost me, Musk said honestly. People will mock me. Some will say I'm having a breakdown. Business partners might question my judgment. But for once in my life, I don't care about the consequences. He took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the faces in the congregation. For so long, I've been driven by fear of humanity's extinction. I've pushed myself and others to our limits, believing our survival depends on becoming a multiplanetary species, on developing AI responsibly, on transitioning to sustainable energy. And those things still matter. His voice softened. But now I see. There's something even more fundamental at stake, our souls. What does it profit a person to save the entire species, but lose their own soul? Pastor Wilson stepped forward. Elon, would you like to pray right now? To make this commitment official? Musk nodded without hesitation. Yes, I would. The pastor placed a hand on his shoulder. You can use your own words. Just speak from your heart. With cameras rolling and millions watching, Musk closed his eyes and began to pray. God, I don't know all the right words to say. I'm new at this. But I know you're real, and that you've been pursuing me, even when I denied you. Today, I surrender my life to you completely. I can't do this on my own anymore. I need your guidance, your forgiveness, your purpose. I accept Jesus as my Savior, and I commit to following him from this day forward, whatever that means, whatever it costs. I'm all in. Amen. When he opened his eyes, tears were streaming down his face. The sanctuary erupted, not with claps of approval, but with shouts of praise and the kind of joy only seen in spiritual awakening. Online reactions exploded. Social media was in full meltdown. The service ran nearly 30 minutes over. Nobody wanted to leave. Afterward, in a quiet room behind the sanctuary, Pastor Wilson sat with Musk, while church security worked to keep reporters and onlookers at bay. Are you okay? The pastor asked gently. Musk nodded, looking at the screen of his buzzing phone. It's everywhere, he said quietly. #Musk surrenders is trending #1 worldwide. My team is panicking. I have over 1,000 unread messages. The pastor leaned in. Are you having second thoughts? Musk shook his head, a calmness in his expression. Strangely no. For the first time in years, I feel at peace. The world outside is exploding, and I'm calm inside. That makes no logical sense. Pastor Wilson smiled knowingly. That's what Scripture calls the peace that passes understanding. Musk's phone rang again. He glanced at the caller ID. My mom, he said softly. I should take this. He stepped into the corner of the room, answering the call. Mom, yes, it's true. No, I'm not having a breakdown. I know how it looks. I can't explain it fully right now, but this is real. I love you too. Returning to his seat, Musk sighed and looked at Pastor Wilson. She thinks I need psychological help. She's worried. That's understandable, the pastor said kindly. This is unexpected for everyone who knows you. What happens now? Musk asked. How do I navigate this? Before the pastor could respond, his wife, Sarah, entered the room holding a tablet. I think you need to see this, she said, handing it to her husband. Pastor Wilson's eyes widened as he looked at the screen, then passed it to Musk. Thousands of messages were pouring in. Tweets, posts, and comments from around the world lit up the screen. If Elon Musk can find faith, maybe I should reconsider. Watching Musk pray made me cry. I haven't thought about God in years. This shook me. Downloading a Bible app right now. Musk stared in disbelief. This is not what I expected. Your platform gives you a unique reach, the pastor said. People who would never listen to a preacher are hearing the gospel because of your testimony. At that moment, Musk's security team entered the room. Sir, we need to leave. The crowd outside is growing. We're concerned for your safety. As they prepared to exit, Pastor Wilson handed Musk a Bible. This is for you. My number is written inside. Call anytime. Musk accepted it with a nod. I will. And thank you for the invitation. For making space for this to happen. Outside, a crowd had gathered, not of fans screaming for autographs, but of people reaching toward him, many with tears in their eyes. Pray for me too. Thank you for your courage. You've given me hope. In the car, Musk opened his phone again. Notifications flooded in, hundreds of texts, calls, and headlines. Breaking. Elon Musk converts to Christianity on live broadcast. Tech titan's tearful testimony shocks millions. Musk declares faith in God. I can't keep this hidden anymore. He closed the news apps. A text appeared from a number he didn't recognize. I've been an atheist for 20 years. Your testimony just made me question everything. Thank you. Musk leaned back in his seat, heart full, mind still. He looked out the window at the crowd disappearing in the distance. This wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning.